You good? Go.
All right. What's up, everybody? Yeah, I appreciate everything Sister Danny was saying. I don't know. I just spent like the last hour and a half just chilling with some brothers, and drinking with them. And I am like shocked at just how deeply rooted some ideas about manhood really are. Just talking with these cats. I mean, and I don't know. It seems to me that in order to get to advance some things, we're gonna have to be. It seems like even more intentional on some things. I I want to believe that we can, the future is attainable as far as equality goes. But I think we are, as a people, I mean, we're we're talking about manhood, um, but at the same time, the larger society is trying to get past manhood, trying to get to a different kind of equality. But black men have not seen that equality yet, and I don't know how we're gonna get there. When you got a lot of brothers who still think they got to get ahead by keeping women in a certain place. It just astounds me how dead set it is. And I don't know how we as people do that without you telling black men intentionally about what their mothers can do, what their mothers already have done, and what their women are capable of doing. I mean, the brothers I saw with, there's some good brothers. I mean, they're great, but Jesus, their mindset is on conquering entrepreneurship, conquering everything, but they put women beneath them. And it's like, how can you be a 20th century brother, 21st century brother, still thinking that way? I just can't see it. I just can't see it. But yet it's on the horizon. Even in folks 28 years old, they're thinking about putting women under their feet. If you want to be blunt about it, I have no idea how to get past that. I yield.
Sister Danny, or she's put her hand. No, Sister Regina, you're next. Go right ahead.
Yes, I think that might be a matter of more of an issue of convenience. It's just kind of, it's convenient. Everybody needs somebody to be above. I think sometimes we get caught up in that mindset. But what I wanted to bring out was this idea of identity, and that's what we're talking about. And so I really appreciated Danny's point about being yourself. Self-determination is one of the principles of Kwanzaa. So I'm really intrigued by like the definition of Blackness and Black people and Black American. And what does that mean? And are we, right now, are we prepared for a new definition, a new version of the Black experience, Black culture? And along with that, are we prepared for the death of whatever the traditional Black experience is? And so that just really fascinates me when I think about young people. I have a 20-something-year-old, and the way that she and her counterparts are living out Blackness and defining Blackness. It's not the same way that my grandparents did. It's not always the same way that I do. But yet it's still Blackness. It's still the culture. And as we, embrace more and more as biracial children carve out their own lane, what does that mean for Blackness? So I'm just really, really curious about this identity, the shifting identity, the identity that we're saying goodbye to, and what we need to be open to.
Sister Regina, that's a beautiful, very insightful point as usual. But that's scary. I remember someone told me, if you want to give an old person a heart attack, go up and tell them that everything is going to change. And I'm now that old guy. I don't want to see everything changed. Not within Black culture, not within how Black men, their status and how they are interacting when they're at their best. And in many ways, I have these feelings often that there's a steady erosion of who we are. And I'm not connected enough to even realize or understand. And I'm surrounded by young people all day, every day, what it's being replaced with. Because the things that I'm picking up that it's being replaced with are not worthy of even the worst class of Black folk. That's scary to me. And that's troublesome to me, where, you're talking about the obliteration of our way, of how we got over. And
what is our way? Define that.
A communalistic mutual reliance upon one another. That regardless of what it is, regardless of what that relationship is, that I got your back. Even if I don't know you, I got you. I was in Walmart. This is probably about 6 months ago. And there was this, how you come across a jazzy old lady. This lady she was definitely in her 70s. And this lady's actually flirting, and she's doing all this. And it's me, her, and a Black cashier. And apparently she goes to that Walmart often because he's bantering back and forth with her. And he says, "Sir, do you want me to call the security and have this woman quit harassing you?" And so we're all having a good laugh at it. And she says, "Oh, I'm going to put my stuff up here with yours." And she only had 2 items. Okay. And she said somehow, I'm lucky to be able to even afford these. Okay. And so I make a joke out of it. And I told the brother, I said, "Is she a liar?" So he said, "No, I don't see her as a liar." I said, "Well, she didn't put her stuff up there." And so she puts her stuff up and I go ahead and pay. But I did the cash back thing and I did like $200 in cash back. And I told the cashier, I said, "Listen, because he's getting the money out." I said, "No, give it to her." Okay. And so I grabbed my stuff and I'm walking away. And I could hear him saying, "Don't you do it. Don't you do it." And the next thing I know, I can hear her crying. And I can hear her screaming, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this. I didn't have nothing to make it through the rest of the month." And I'm like, that's our way. And I'm seeing a lot of self-centeredness and individualism that is coming from children who are in adult bodies. And it's almost as if technology, social media, and what have you have allowed them to be pushed out into the public arena way too soon. That growth that they should be going through, those life lessons they should be learning before they're able to serve up as leaders within our community, aren't happening. Now, if you look a certain way, you can be a social influencer. And I believe that it's moving us so fast, so far. And it reminds me, and I love saying this brother's name, it's the coolest rap name in the history of rap, Grand Verbalizer Funkin' Lesson Brother Jay from X Clan, who quite simply said, ignorance is not a trend. And my fear is not that they're going to amend and alter our way. My fear is that they're not even aware of what the old way was. And once we're gone, they're never going to be able to retrieve it again. And they're never going to be able to weather this consistent storm. Because let's be honest, the best for Black folk, when you're talking about living in white America, is a hard rain. And at other times, it's going to be a thunderstorm, if not a typhoon or hurricane. So that's what I mean. I'm talking about our communal nature. I'm talking about what is it? I know you a cultural nationalist, the Kujichagulia, that goes into it. So that's what I'm talking about. And I yield.
All of that is true. It's also true that we struggle with unity in the community. It's also true that our ancestors, our grandparents, their parents had the same fears about us. And so I think I understand that. I really do. I think also this is where we come into, find your tribe. So you find and associate yourself with like-minded individuals. I can't convince every Black person that they are Kemetic. I
Yeah.
can't convince every Black person of what their true rights are. Mm-hmm. And when I spend my time doing that, I'm not, it takes away from my own power.
Yeah, but that takes me back to my earlier comment when I asked, are we being too generous and non-specific by thinking that there's only one tribe of Black folk?
No, there's so many.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's this school of thought that the idea of Pan-African is ridiculous. It's a completely unattainable goal. It's a distraction. Africans have never, ever, 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 ever been united across that big, big chunk of land. There's never been one Africa. There's never been one single African mind. So, why do we, I don't know that that's a fair expectation of ourselves right now. It's a nice idea. It's necessary. But is it, Jesus was betrayed by a friend. So this idea of betrayal, is ancient. So I think that again, I think that could be a bit of a distraction and unrealistic. And I'm going to mute myself again and listen a little more.
Okay, one of the questions that I have is, who's the Black man at his best? Then we're talking about that there are, several different tribes of Black men. Who's the Black man at his best? And Brother Otis, I saw your comment about a United States of Africa. Kwame Nkrumah tried to do that, and other African leaders rebelled against that idea, saying that Kwame Nkrumah wanted to be the president of the United States of Africa and wouldn't go along with it. But who's the Black man when he's at his best? What does that look like? Go ahead, Otis. Just jump in.
I would say maybe that's the most human, because the Black man's been through the gutter of suffering more than probably most ethnic groups other than maybe Native Americans. But at the same time, an even greater human than that would probably be the Black woman, because the Black man has treated the Black woman, in a sense, as somebody to cast some shit upon. I mean, it's just the way it is, man. I mean, and I think women in that regard have a lot to teach us. I just believe that. And I think Black men know it.
One or two of those lessons that they can teach us.
I think Black men know it, but at the same time, in the quest to be normal.
No, we want some lessons. Give us at least two of them.
Two of them. I mean, the humanity thing is there, but I think men stumble at the humanity because look at how we treat our women, in a sense. I mean, we're all about equality and everything, whatnot. But then,
wait a minute, we be specific on who you're talking about.
Well, again, no matter what religion, no matter what you believe, it's a very very niche group that have basically treated women as equals. So much so I can't even name that many Black sects that have done it. And I think right now, even in our primary religions, you have places for it, and be it Christianity, Judaism, or Islam or whatever. but they don't necessarily heed to it to a certain degree. Women still take a back seat in those major religions, but yet they have women that have done exceedingly good things.
Hold on. It seems you reminded me of this term that I've heard someone use. Kevin Samuels uses this term. If anyone's familiar with his stuff, he refers to certain women as being Christian feminist.
They're out there. But again,
scripturally is God, and I hate to even talk about religion. I'm one of those that adheres to Malcolm's thing, where he says, if your religion has done as little for you as ours has done for us, you need to leave it in the closet anyway. But is God looking at man and woman as being equal, or do they each have a role in this thing called life?
I would think so. In my view, I take it like this. Jesus said, he that is going to be greatest among you will be servant of all. In my own life, I've seen the greatest servant has been women. They've done the most without the least recognition. They stepped up where men weren't there. They've shrunk themselves to let men take a lead in some things. And I wouldn't be here if it had not been for Black women. And they, in a sense, showed me how to be a man. And they gave me some things that traditional manhood did not give me. And I think,
like what?
Well, for one, how to be tough and still be kind. That comes to mind. Everything's not about fighting and immediate gratification, but with women, I've learned more about temperance. I've learned more about patience. Where my dads were just as I had two dads. I was blessed to have a stepdad and a biological dad. They were great men, but I learned the most about patience from the women in my life. And it's just like I think because they are under the foot of men, they have something to learn, and it could be taught on a broader scale, but it's just not allowed. And we are the lesser for it. I mean, in all our greatness, I think right now there is something there. I mean, again, you see it, it's like echoes in the Gospels and whatnot, or in the Bible and everything. I mean, women have got shit done, and they've got no credit for it. And I'll say that to the day I die. It's like, man, there's something there. We're missing it, and I think we're as humanity at large, we are lesser for it. I mean, and I think the sooner we tap into that, I think we'll be better off as a species. And that's just something I believe. And I think I think it's going to always be something that trips us up because we just too prideful to do it. Again, most men I talk to, no matter how progressive they are, it's like they just can't get past it. You gotta shit on somebody. And if it ain't gonna be another man, it's gonna be a woman of your own race. And that's just sad. And I yield.
Yeah, that shit is sad right there. Yeah.
So can we revisit what does it look like for a Black man when a Black man is at his finest?
Yes.
So just as from a woman, I can say what that.
Whoa! Before you start, don't make this a Edie fest, okay?
So what that looks like for me. Seriously, when this is what brothers being at their best and their finest, this is what I see it manifest as. When they are, when it's like men are with the children and they're getting the children together, I think men have a presence and voice with children that carries more weight than women. And so I love to see that in action. When I see dads doing their daughter's hair, that's a brother at his finest for me. When I see brothers and Black men engaged in intelligent conversation, that's a brother at his finest. It's not about money. It's not about your station in life. It's about the way you carry yourself. It's about the vision you have for yourself. That's, to me, is a brother at his finest that understands, these might be the external circumstances, but I still have a vision for myself. I still know who I am, and I'm still able within myself be proud and carry myself that way. That's just some of the ways that a brother at his finest shows up for me.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Any other women want to jump in on that? Anybody else? Okay, let me ask you this though, Sister Regina. Very close friend of mine referred to men who have a plan or an idea where they want to go, but they haven't been able to successfully execute it. They've met several failures in their life. Referred to as what was the term? Gonna do, called them gonna do brothers. And what they meant was, I'm no finna do. Okay. And they said, you constantly hear them talking about, I'm finna do this, I'm finna do that, I'm finna. And nothing gets done. Now, is it realistic? I mean, let's be honest now. How many sisters are going to have the patience and the temperance to work with a finna do brother? Because I know a lot of brothers who and they in their 40s, and all they waiting is that big break with Def Jam, or for Puff to find them, or Jay to find them, or somebody to find them so they can cut this rap album. Can a sister realistically be expected to deal with that?
It's not fair.
What do you mean it's not fair?
Women have dealt with that. They've already done it. If you're a Black woman, it's been done. Black women have been bothering women for over a century. Over a century.
No. We're talking about 21st century right now. Black women right now. Okay. Could it be, is it reasonable to expect a sister who is with a brother who is at some level of her life? She may be a professional, she may not be a professional, but how long is it reasonable to expect a Black woman, to hold on and support a brother while he's out here basically engrossed in a hobby?
It depends. Crooklyn showed you some of that shit. It's like, my man in Crooklyn had a career going on. He didn't get it done. And from Spike's point of view, huh?
Delroy Lindo?
Yeah. Again, she should. Yeah, well, it has some inspiration from life. I saw echoes there. At some point, that brother should have let go and let her do what she had to do, but he did not do that, and she chose to ride with that till the wheels fell off. And again, sometimes you gotta know when to quit. And do something else. It's a matter of pride. Some things are very, very.
That's my point exactly. My point is, how long can Black women, and I heard this feminist term that it resonates in my head. How long can Black women be expected to set themselves on fire to keep others warm?
They've been doing it for a long time. I'm getting until they're tired. And right now you're seeing a lot of women saying, fuck that. I'm tired of this shit. I'm not going through it anymore. I'm tired of waiting on these guys that ain't gonna do shit. And they gonna run things in the ground, trying to pursue a vision that won't work. In the meantime, I got bills to pay, I got children to feed, I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
That's exactly what I'm asking.
I think right now we're seeing some of that because some of these women's mothers and grandmothers done the same thing. My mother was somewhat of that degree, yet she still in her life made room for men to be men, even though she took care of me. And it's amazing looking back, like, man, You shrunk yourself from doing all these things to let this man do some things. And so basically, he could feel like he was doing something. Yet still, you got over 10 years, you doing the same thing for me on your own. Yeah, you gave space to a man to do that, to feel like a man. That is phenomenal. And we are blind to that. And they've been doing that for a long time.
Man, who's blind to? Come on, man. Give
I think we as men are blind to that.
Credit. Come on, man. Come on. You gotta give brothers some credit.
I give brothers credit, but at the same time, I think manhood to a certain degree blinds us to a lot of things, because Black women have performed manhood for a lot of brothers for a long time and ain't got credit for it. I mean, in some respects, I think my mother, she knew what she needed in a man, and she instilled that in me as a child. And it's like, well, whereas, I have fathers, they have their own idea of manhood, and a lot of it revolves around things that probably my mother was probably better at. Again, patience, knowing when to fight, about knowing not to fight about certain things, knowing when to ask for help.
And Black men don't do that as well.
Not as best as some women do. I mean, in my own estimation, it's like,
bro, you need to get out more.
Well, again. I think again, there was certain kind of men my fathers were. I'm 46 years old, and so, but I do see a difference in how my mother and my fathers were. Biological father and stepfather. One father was religious, one father was not, and there's some things where they intersect, and they intersect mostly at basically. If you need blood shitting on women to a certain degree. And it's like, and I think, and again, I believe this to the core of my being, that we are missing out on what women have to give, largely, white and Black. You see certain things that, Black men and white men lack because we don't listen to women. Our society is profoundly patriarchal, profoundly anti-women, misogynistic. And it's like, man,
you're talking about America, or you talking about?
Yes, at large. And I think Black folks, to some degree, we echo the larger culture. And I think, I wish Black people would get this the most, because it's been with us for forever. Black women got shit done. I mean, and we just haven't given them credit for it. And I think a certain amount of manhood has come from that, because they knew what they wanted in a man. And they kind of projected it or taught it somehow. I'm not a scholar on that, but I think they've done it. And I think, I applaud single moms for doing it. I mean, and I applaud single dads for recognizing it too. It takes a certain kind of, you got to be aware. I mean, single parents, I think I've known more single parent mothers than single parent fathers who got it. And single parent fathers who get it, you can tell they get it. You tell, when they have to take on the role of a mother. It's something about a man who realizes what a mother does, and he acts on that. And it kind of changes you. And it's hard to describe. So it's just this is where I'm at. And I yield.
All right, Sister Danny, go right ahead.
Oh, okay. So your question was how long? What's a reasonable amount of time or whatever? Not really sure if I can repeat the question, but here we are again. They say it's a lid for every pot. There is somebody who is going to ride with that 53-year-old rapper and believe in him and pour into him. And that's what's up. That's for them. Somebody else, I ain't doing it. But somebody will. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Somebody will. We all know this. There are some women who like men that they can push around. They like men that they want to take care of. People like what they like, So again, it's a lid for every pot. I ain't doing it. This is my thing. If you, 53 and you trying to rap and produce, that's what's up, applaud you because it couldn't be me. That's all I'm saying. But I applaud you and whoever, do your thing for real. But don't be mad at me if I say I can't do that, because the time for me to do that was 30 years ago. I ain't got no problem with it. It's just not for me. And again, so that does that mean that you got to be, well, 6-figure, whatever? No, it doesn't. But no, I ain't gonna say that. I was gonna say I can support you in your, in trying to build at 60, but I'm not even gonna lie like that. I cannot. I cannot, and I yield.
Sister Regina, it's on you.
Yeah, I just wanted to push that question back to men too, because how long are you willing to support someone's dreams? And maybe I realize that I don't think the same way as a lot of other women, but when I quit my job to start my business, yes, my husband supported me, but it wasn't just how long will you support me, but it was also how long do I give myself to see if this works. And I think that's part of the responsibility. Like, yeah, definitely pursue your dreams. But the reality of it is we got bills to pay. And if you can pursue your dreams and get it together and make that pay these bills, I'm there for you. I will support that, but then, okay, responsible adults put a limit on that. And you go into it with that. So no, it ain't just, oh, I'm fitting to do something. Well, did you make any calls today? Nope. Did you, did you get some marketing materials put together? No. Did you work on your website? No. What's up with your Insta? No. So
why you sweating me? Get on my back.
So if you working on your dreams, work on them. But if you just fitting for the rest of your life, well then, you got a decision to make. Are you okay with that as your partner? Mm-hmm. Or is that not the right mindset you want? Is that not the mindset you want in a partner? Because it could be the right mindset for you.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is, I remember I was involved with a sister who was an actress, and you know the biggest thing that she was in was 42, the Jackie Robinson story. She had a speaking role in 42. Okay, but the majority of that stuff was just doing sort of like those like investigation discovery where they have somebody black got killed and they do the recreation. Well, she was in a bunch of those. But I had to really realistically look at that and ask myself, is this something that I want to invest in? That because for me, I'm like, okay, you've been doing this for 13 years. You got in 42, but that was just one scene. Okay. It's not something that I would want to do. Now somebody else may want, that might be their thing. Okay, because she's around Tyler Perry and all of these notable people, but it wasn't for me. So, I think it goes both ways. I just think that the narrative that all Black women are dry long so, are long suffering. I find that to be fallacious. All of them are not. Some of them ain't willing to help a brother who was probably getting ready to get drafted next week, make it to the draft if that calls for them to go into their pocket. People are people, and I don't think that men have a monopoly upon boorish behavior and idiocy, and I don't believe that women have a monopoly on foolishness. We're people, we're humans, but the narrative that one group is somehow unique, no, I don't believe that. I long cease believing that you can even find femininity in all women.
What?
Well, yeah, that's true, because not all men are masculine.
Thank you. That's my point.
That goes back to, we talked about this some weeks ago. What does feminine mean?
There you go. There's no way. You can't make these generalities and then build this tower of things on top of something that at its base and at its core is not true. And that's where my problem comes in. The idea that just based upon someone's gender, that they have these admirable traits. They don't. We all know some old aunt or friend of the family who is a drop down drunk, who neglected her kids, who X, Y, and I think that is disingenuous. It would be just as disingenuous for me to take that expression of female existence and to expand it and spread it and say, well, all women are drunks and hoes. Of course, that's not true. So it bothers me to hear people say, well, women, they've done this and blah, blah, name them. Because if you name them, I'm good. But if you are putting, I don't know, sisters that are on Instagram or whatever they own, shaking their ass and talk about female strength, and you mention Asada Shakur and Kathleen Cleaver in the same sentence, you're wrong. They don't belong. They haven't deserved that. They haven't earned it. And I yield.
I don't know about all that, man. I mean,
I know. I know that's the problem.
History still exists. I mean, women have been underfoot for a long time, black, white, or other.
What was Samson's downfall?
I mean, his downfall was he was fooled by a woman who appealed to his. Look at
what that hoe did.
Why she got to be a hoe?
Well, you just finished trying to talk about they were that historically they've been virtuous. Well, historically they've been hoes too.
It's not. No, I didn't say anything. I said nothing about virtuosity with women. I said nothing about virtuosity. No, I did not. I said they did what they had to do while being underfoot. They learned how to navigate that. I mean, is that virtue? You wouldn't call it virtue. Men on top of them.
What I am saying is you can search the historical record. You can find
again, Delilah, she had to go about Samson a way she had to go about it. She couldn't kill him directly. I mean, and I think, I mean, again, in mind, that what you said sounds good, but
Jesus is breaking up. Jesus is breaking up your mind.
Women aren't equal. Have women outside of the role of traditional women. Hello?
We can hear you was breaking up.
I didn't hear all that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you was breaking up.
Okay, I'm afraid my internet. I mean,
main line on you, brother.
Okay, well, I think I can't tell whether or not you hear me. All of me. Everything's going in and out.
We can hear you.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, I think, yeah, I mean, and we live in a culture that, I mean, misogyny reigns, so to speak. I mean, it's I guess compounded by race, so to speak. Yeah, we as a culture, Black people have been oppressed, but we've done.
Brother Muhammad, you want to jump in?
Maybe it's a place and let that thing happen, but we can't because men just don't think they're worthy of it, and that just sucks. And I yield.
I know the brother.
I don't know. I just think that's by person basis.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? You can't lump all Black men in together just because of something that a certain select few do. Huh? I was like, cause I'm the low man in the totem pole in my house. All the women in my house run my house. I'm on the bottom. I get told what to do, when to do, how to do.
But you're still the leader. I bet
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
still the leader.
And you know what? I'm more, and as I was about to say, but I'm secure in myself to say, you know what? There's certain things that she's just better than me at. And, you know, I'm not going to be super macho man and say, yo, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do the other thing. Like, for example, the money, which is the most important thing. I'm not in charge of that. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't be in my house probably if I was in charge of it, because she's better at it than I am. She keeps better record. Oh, I'm in the middle of talking. It says she's better at record keeping. She's better at following up on stuff. She's just better at that. And I'm man enough to say, you know what? Yeah, I'll let her do that. And I'm all right with that. But then there's other things that I step in. You know, I mean, it's just we're humans, and there's certain men that are better at certain things than women, and vice versa. It's not a gender exclusive thing. You know, it's just what you as an individual, based on what you know, based on what you learn, based on life experience, based on anything, you know. But yeah, I mean, the way I think, the way I operate, the way I navigate in the world, it may not be in line with every single solitary Black person. And it may not be in line with every single solitary white person, whatever, but there may be similarities across genders, ethnicities, regardless. You know, it just comes down to, are you righteous and are you not? Do you live in a way that doesn't make life inconvenient for other people?
Mm-hmm.
And are you doing right by the people that you consider important, or those that are closest around you and within your circle? Because things that I do have no effect on something that's happening in another state or anything like that, unless I do something ignorant to embarrass myself, to wind up on 24-hour news cycle that everybody knows and be like, look at this stupid ass that did this. And as long as I'm not doing that, I'm all right. And I yield with that.
Anyone else want to jump in? All right, gang. We have had a wonderful night tonight. We're gonna go ahead and pull this to a close. And I would like to bring my brother Maurice forward again so that he can close us out. The floor is yours, my brother.
All right, thanks, Doc. Excellent program again, family. And as we always say, you kill the nigga in you, I'm gonna kill the nigga in me, and our God will reign supreme. We are Black first, today, tomorrow, and forever. Love you, family. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings. Shalom.
Peace.